In the shadows of global finance, beneath headlines about inflation, elections, and economic recovery, a far larger transformation is quietly unfolding. The United States is rebuilding the foundations of the dollar system, and almost no one is paying attention. For years, analysts have warned that the US dollar is losing its dominance. But what if the truth is completely different? What if America isn't losing power, but redesigning the system to keep control for the next century? Most people saw inflation, economists saw interest rate hikes, but behind the noise, policymakers at the Treasury, Federal Reserve, and global banks were preparing something far bigger, a reset of the monetary architecture itself. After 50 years of debt-based expansion, the US financial system is buckling. The government owes over $37 trillion, banks rely on outdated settlement systems, and the dollar faces new competitors. The old world cannot survive the next decade. Publicly, policymakers say everything is under control. Privately, their strategy is clear. Restructure the global dollar system using 3 tools: digital assets, commodity-backed reserves, and new debt mechanisms designed to reset the playing field. The biggest shift of all is digital, not cryptocurrency speculation, but government-designed digital settlement rails. Faster, programmable, traceable, and impossible to bypass. A new financial skeleton created for a new era. While the world chases digital innovation, the US is quietly stockpiling and repositioning gold. In every major reset, from Rome to Bretton Woods, gold played the stabilizer. This time may be the insurance policy behind the next dollar. Despite predictions of collapse, global trade, energy markets, and central banks still rely overwhelmingly on the dollar. The world cannot replace it overnight, and America knows this. Dependence gives them room to reshape the system quietly. Look closely at recent US partnerships: Japan, South Korea, Canada, Australia, and parts of Europe. These aren't random diplomatic moves. They are strategic alliances for a new monetary era. Every superpower reinvents its financial system before it collapses. Britain did it, Rome did it, and today the United States is quietly upgrading the dollar into something stronger, faster, and harder to rival. This is not a decline. It is a redesign. In the last 2 decades, the world has faced crisis after crisis: housing crashes, bank failures, inflation waves, geopolitical conflicts. And yet, through every shock, the dollar survived. Not because the system was unbreakable, but because it was being quietly rebuilt. In 2008, millions lost their homes and Wall Street nearly collapsed. But behind the devastation, something else happened. The US learned that global finance can be rebuilt overnight. Trillions of dollars, created with a keystroke. The Federal Reserve discovered its most powerful weapon: unlimited liquidity, dollar creation without restraint. It stabilized banks, propped up markets, and reminded the world that no currency could compete with the American printing press. When COVID-19 froze the world economy, the US hit the accelerator again. $5 trillion injected into households, corporations, and financial institutions. The dollar didn't collapse. Instead, it became even more essential. While stimulus checks were arriving, another project was forming in silence. Digital infrastructure for programmable money, real-time payments, blockchain-based settlements, instant audits. The future financial engine was being tested under crisis. Inflation wasn't an accident. It was a stress test. Policymakers needed to know how far the system could stretch before breaking. And they discovered something profound. The world still demanded dollars, no matter how many were created. Countries like China, Russia, and Iran believed US money printing signaled weakness. They rushed to de-dollarize, but in doing so they revealed something critical: how deeply the world relies on the American system they sought to escape. To most people, volatility looks chaotic. But to a superpower, chaos is a tool. Every correction, every collapse, every panic teaches the system how to evolve. The US wasn't reacting, it was learning. Major US institutions: BlackRock, Vanguard, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs aren't just investing anymore. They're preparing, building digital asset teams, testing blockchain settlements, buying strategic gold reserves. The next era isn't theoretical, it's already underway. The United States didn't avoid collapse, it mastered it. By studying each crisis, it built a more resilient system, one capable of resetting itself without falling apart. This is the true beginning of the silent reset. Crisis not as danger, but as strategy. Most people think digital assets are about speculation: Bitcoin charts, crypto exchanges, meme coins. But beneath the noise, governments and banks are building something far more powerful: a new financial engine designed for speed, control, and global dominance. Bitcoin sparked the revolution, but the real transformation began when governments realized the technology behind it could reinvent the global settlement system. Faster than SWIFT, more secure than banks, and programmable in ways old money never could be. For decades, the US dollar system relied on slow payments, outdated wire systems, and vulnerable banks. Blockchain fixes all of it: instant transactions, immutable records, automated compliance, a system that cannot be manipulated from outside. Across Wall Street, a quiet revolution is underway. turning trillions of dollars in assets, bonds, stocks, real estate into digital tokens. This is not crypto gambling. This is the full digitization of the American financial core. Banks aren't fighting digital assets, they're adopting them. JP Morgan built its own blockchain. Citi created tokenized deposits. The Federal Reserve is designing new settlement rails. The future of money is no longer paper, it's code. A central bank digital dollar, programmable, traceable, secure, would give America unmatched power, real-time monetary policy, instant stimulus, precision taxation, and global reach that no rival currency could match. In a world divided by sanctions, supply chain wars, and currency competition, digital dollars become more than money, they become strategic weapons. Tools that can freeze funds instantly, reroute trade, and enforce global rules without firing a shot. While governments build digital infrastructure, Wall Street focuses on markets, Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum funds, tokenized treasuries. Their goal is simple: absorb the crypto world into the US financial empire instead of fighting it. As countries digitize their economies, they will rely on US technology, US infrastructure, and US digital standards. This is the new dollarization: financial influence, not through paper money, but through digital architecture. The silent reset isn't about replacing the dollar, it's about upgrading it. Digital assets, blockchain, and tokenization form the spine of a redesigned monetary empire, faster, stronger, and nearly impossible to challenge. The next age of American power has already begun. Gold has always been more than wealth. It is trust, stability, and an anchor in times of chaos. From Rome to Bretton Woods, every major financial reset relied on gold. Today, as digital dollars rise, gold quietly returns to the center of US strategy. Behind closed doors, the US is quietly increasing its gold reserves, not for display, but for leverage and insurance policy that reinforces the digital dollar and strengthens the nation's bargaining power in global finance. Digital assets are fast, programmable, and efficient, but they can be volatile. Gold remains the immutable asset, impervious to coding errors, cyber attacks, or political manipulation. In the silent reset, gold is the anchor that prevents collapse. In 1944, the US dollar was backed by gold, creating global trust in the currency. Though the gold standard was abandoned decades ago, lessons remain. Gold today is not a relic, it is a strategic tool, quietly reinforcing dollar dominance. Imagine a world where digital dollars are fully backed by gold reserves. Every transfer, every transaction, every smart contract carries a tangible guarantee. This isn't fantasy, it's quietly under exploration within US policy circles. Other nations talk about reserves, but America controls the largest strategic stockpile, hidden from public view. This gives the US an advantage unmatched in history, a reserve capable of stabilizing the global dollar system at will. In simulation rooms across Washington, strategists model extreme financial crises. Digital markets may fail, currencies may wobble, but gold always remains the stabilizer. It is both a weapon and a shield in the silent reset. While the public sees fluctuating gold prices, the real action is hidden in strategic buys, swaps, and allocations by the US and allied institutions. Every movement is calculated, an invisible hand guiding the silent reset. Gold isn't just about money, it's about trust. When nations see America's reserves, they see stability. Confidence in the dollar grows, adoption of US digital infrastructure becomes easier, and rivals are subtly constrained. Digital dollars, tokenized assets, programmable finance, all are powerful tools, but gold is the backbone, immutable, finite, trusted. The silent reset is not just about technology, it is about reinforcing the dollar system with something the world has always understood: tangible value. The United States carries over $37 trillion in debt, a number that would overwhelm most nations. Yet, somehow, the dollar continues to dominate global finance. The secret lies not in ignoring debt, but in mastering its flow and control. Debt is often seen as a weakness. In reality, it can be a tool. By issuing debt strategically, the US manages global liquidity, keeps markets dependent on the dollar, and creates opportunities to reset financial power quietly. Deficits are more than numbers, they are levers. By running controlled deficits, the US manipulates interest rates, stabilizes banks, and maintains a flow of dollars that underpins global trade. Every decision is precise, every move calculated. Most of the world's countries owe trillions to the US, directly or indirectly. This dependency is invisible to most observers, yet it ensures that no rival can easily displace the dollar. Debt becomes both a shield and a tool of influence. Behind every bond auction, every treasury yield curve adjustment, lies a strategic calculation. The Treasury does more than finance government spending, it orchestrates global confidence, guiding markets to support the silent reset. The magic of the silent reset lies in combining digital dollars with controlled debt. Blockchain-based settlements, tokenized bonds, and programmable money allow the US to manage debt with unprecedented speed and transparency. Inflation is both risk and opportunity. By manipulating debt issuance, interest rates, and digital flows, The US manages inflation in real time, preventing market collapse while slowly recalibrating the dollar system. Rivals expect defaults. They predict panic, but America avoids them carefully. Each crisis is orchestrated so markets wobble, not collapse. The perception of risk strengthens the silent reset, making the dollar indispensable. Through strategic lending, the US influences trade, sanctions, compliance, and global policy. Every foreign debt agreement strengthens its control of the financial system, subtly enforcing the rules of the new digital dollar era. The silent reset is not coercive, it is structural. By mastering debt, deficits, and digital flows, the US builds a system where global markets and governments comply naturally. The dollar remains the backbone, invisible yet omnipresent. The silent reset is not a domestic experiment, it is a global strategy. By combining digital dollars, gold, and controlled debt, the United States ensures that the dollar remains the world's dominant currency, regardless of emerging competitors. Every nation, every bank, every multinational must adapt. Digital payments, blockchain integrations, and tokenized assets become the new norm. Compliance is quiet, yet absolute, as global finance aligns with America's redesigned system. Countries attempting to challenge the dollar often misread the silent reset. While they focus on alternative currencies or gold accumulation, the US integrates technology, strategy, and influence, staying steps ahead in global dominance. The dollar underpins almost every major commodity market: oil, gas, metals. By maintaining control over digital settlements, America ensures that global trade flows through its system, reinforcing dominance without confrontation. Sanctions are not mere punishment, they are precision tools. With digital dollars, the US can enforce compliance instantly. Transactions are traceable, sanctions are automatic, and global actors learn quickly that deviation has consequences. Partnerships with allied nations are no longer just diplomatic, they are structural. Shared digital rails, tokenized settlements, and integrated financial systems create loyalty through dependency and technological alignment. The silent reset operates between visibility and concealment. Public markets see stability. Hidden flows and strategic moves remain invisible. This balance ensures confidence while allowing unprecedented control. Emerging markets face a choice: adopt the new US-led digital infrastructure or risk marginalization. Those who integrate gain access to liquidity, stability, and technology. Those who resist face isolation and economic pressure. Money is no longer just currency, it is programmable influence. The silent reset transforms dollars into instruments of power, capable of shaping markets, alliances, and global compliance with a precision never seen before in human history. The silent reset is neither theory nor speculation, it is a reality quietly taking shape. Digital assets, gold reserves, and controlled debt have created a system where the dollar remains unchallenged. The world may never notice the transformation until it is complete.